Hello! You are early to the stream. We'll get started with the actual lesson content right at 2 o'clock my time, so 20 minutes from now. James Sims! 3 seconds after I show up, James joins the family. We're all a family here. Thank you, James, for joining my channel. James S. You got the member badge now. You can show off the emotes. You can also join the members only chat room in the Discord, where I sometimes will ask questions there for feedback before I make public posts or do early announcements occasionally. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be doing an intermediate level lesson today in a bit. Get started in about 20 minutes. Now, it is intermediate, but even if you're not intermediate level yet, I would say this is a topic that you definitely don't need to be intermediate to understand. You will need to be intermediate to naturally use it in your conversations because it requires knowing, it requires being somewhat familiar with politeness levels already. And typically beginners are not very familiar with politeness levels beyond that there are politeness levels, you know, the really basics. So in order to use this properly and naturally where it should be, and it's not used that often, you will need to be intermediate, but you do not need to be intermediate to at least understand it and, you know, make sentences that have it, at least for practicing. So let's see who's here so far. Let's see, the first member that I recognize is Lexica. Welcome. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Yes. Hey, everyone. Speaking of hello, everyone, I do want to make a comment. User in the chat, Bella, you wrote 안녕하세요, 다들. I just want to make a note. Typically, 다들 would be used for more casual usage. It's not a formal expression for everyone. You would say 여러분 to be polite. So in order to match it better with hello, if you're saying 안녕하세요, you'd want to use 여러분. Or you can use other expressions as well, but you wouldn't want to use 다들 necessarily for polite speech because it kind of feels like it has a mismatch. It's a little more casual. So you might say 안녕 with that, but for 안녕하세요, you'd want to switch to 여러분. Just wanted to point it out. Hopefully that helps. Evan Tesseract. I don't believe that's your real last name. From the, it's the long and wonderful lineage of the Tesseracts. Yeah, the Tesseracts, they've been in our community for decades. Well, I used to be friends with his grandfather and my grandfather. Old little Johnny Tesseract. Oh, see, sorry, I didn't read your comment. You said, I'm not intermediate, but I like learning things. I do get politeness levels, though. Well, as long as you get politeness levels in general, you should be able to understand this form. So that's good. Joe Turner. Joe Turner, 안녕하세요. Someone said 여러분들. You wouldn't need ter because yorobun as itself, yorobun as a word is actually a combination of two words. It's simply written without a space, but it is yoro, which means several or many, various, and bun, which is the polite word for saram. So it's the honorific noun version of saram, meaning a person. So literally various people or many people. So it already is plural. You don't need to add ter to make it plural on top of being plural already. So it would just be yorobun. Now, you can use ter in other situations, such as after adverbs, after phrases, and I have a video about that in my Korean FAQ series if you're curious. Armies, you're asking, why are their names in green? That's because they are members of this channel, the paid supporters who are helping me to keep my lights on. Literally, I have lights in this room. I mean, outside, I mean, I have lights in front of me though, yes. Back there, that's totally legit. No lights there, but just the sun. But back at home in my studio, you know what I'm talking about. You help keep the lights on so I can keep making these videos, paying for my equipment, which is not cheap, but members are to thank for all of this. Patreon as well. When I say members, I mean, you know, it's all kind of this, they're different. There's Patreon memberships and there's channel memberships, but they all support the same thing. They all go toward my equipment, keeping everything going. The bus fare to get here, that's what I was trying to say, for lack of better words. It was a long bus ride to get to this beautiful location. Wow, look at that building. It looks so right in front of me and real. Let's see here. So people are still coming in. We haven't started with the lesson in case you're worried. Billy, get on with it. Get on with it. Did you know you have students from Jordan? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Something kind of funny is I checked my analytics in YouTube several years ago. Now it doesn't show, but in the past it would show you every single country for people who would watch your videos. Now I think it might not show accurately for some of them, but I've had viewers from North Korea before, believe it or not. Very few. But I remember when I would upload some videos years ago, I would get like 1 view a month from North Korea, just randomly. I'm like, who's watching my videos? Who's watching my videos? Should you be on the internet? I noticed this week for the first time that the easier lessons are becoming too easy. Learning for more than a year now, and I'm so happy that I've really made progress. Awesome. Yeah. Some of that stuff I consider kind of all in the beginner level, simply because once you pass it, you'll look back and say, ha, that's easy. But when you're in it, it's not easy. It's definitely a challenge. I remember going through a lot of those beginner level grammar forums and having difficulty with some of them because they don't match with English. You know, a lot of stuff that you do in Korean simply just doesn't match with the same thing that you would express in English. And and today's lesson is another example of that. It's another thing where we don't really have the same thing in English, so you have to understand it more by the nuance than by the literal meaning. Lifestyle by KA asks, will you have a meetup in Seoul this year? I do not know. I did one last year, and then the previous one was in 2019. So at least I'll do one every 3 years, right? 19, 20, 21, 22. And then this year, the very day that I decided to do a meetup, the exact day, there was like Korea's largest protest the entire year of like 15,000 people that gridlocked the entire area. And I arrived like over an hour late to my own fan meetup. So I might have to be more careful at picking a day. I don't know. For the time being, though, I'll say no, just to not make any expectations early. If I decide to do that kind of thing, I'll let you know at least a couple weeks in advance. But I don't have any plans for one right now. It's not it's not that easy to do a meetup because I don't just want to meet in a public place and say, hey, I want to have something that we can do that's fun. Last time we filmed a video, and you can see that on my channel. I have a video of an interview that we did there. That was kind of fun. I can actually understand, Just Bridges says, I can actually understand my Korean priest when he asks me simple questions. Yeah. Not awesome. Being able to understand something to get the gist of it, that's a really good first step. Let's see here. Are there any announcements I need to make before we get started? We still have 10 minutes before the lesson starts. People are still coming in. Welcome. Of course, there is a Discord channel. There's a link in the description to my Discord channel, which is always open and free, and you can go there. You can share your goals. Right now, people are sharing their New Year's goals for learning Korean. I also posted my December goals as well as an update on how those went, so you can follow me, what I'm doing for my studying, and other people as well. Everyone's kind of asking questions and answering, so make sure to join that if you're not already a member, and hang out with other people who are learning Korean as well. Again, completely free. What's not free, however, is if you would like to get these outlines for all of my videos, as well as worksheets for most of the live streams. There are outlines for every single live stream that I've ever done that you can find on my Patreon. And the one for last week's is already available, and this one will be up there as soon as the live stream's over. So that's another way to support me, is by getting these outlines. And they just have all the information we go over in video form, but you can see all the sentences and the general explanations that I give written down. So you don't have to take notes if you want. You can just watch, enjoy the live stream, and then download this later. Also, oh yeah, the live schedule. So the schedule is also always posted on my community tab. Let me just post that here. There is a Google document which has every live stream I've ever done, as well as a link to it, the outline, the worksheet if there is one, and the future dates for live streams. So make sure to check that out. Hold on. Glass Artist? Wow. Glass Artist. You must have a, hold on. Glass Artist. One of these days I'll learn your actual name. I've seen your username all the time. Glass Artist. Thank you so much. Intermediate gives me a bit of a brain cramp, but some will sink in and help for my future learning process. I hope so. Can I give you 50 dabs for your $50 donation? Hold on here. I'll have to do them kind of quickly. That way I don't use up all the time before our lesson starts. Let's see. What music do I got? Let's put some stars on the screen. Yeah. Let's get some kimchi. Yeah, and let's get KitKat. All right, that looks horrible. It looks horrible. Let's do it. And let's get the Korean flag too. Okay, get kimchi and the Korean flag. Okay, here we go. 50 dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 40, 6, 8, 9, 50. Thank you, Glass Artist. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say is there is no live stream next Sunday. Currently, it's on a schedule of 2 live streams on, 1 live stream off. So there's no live stream next Sunday, but then there will be 2 more again the following Sunday after that. So just letting you know to mark that in your calendars. There isn't a live stream for next Sunday. But again, the schedule is all in that Google document, so you can always find out if there's a live stream coming up by just checking the next date in there. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I should have said non-dabs. Too late. You got him. Thank you. Coming soon. The Go Billy Dab Your Way to Fitness exercise program. Yeah. Did anyone grow up watching, who was it? You know, it makes me think of two people. Richard Simmons, who's like a legend. And the one that I saw a lot growing up was Tai Bo. Did anyone else get Tai Bo in their PE classes? Was it like an older thing, or do they still do that? That was so cool. Like fighting, like boxing or whatever, and like exercise. We got that sometimes. Yeah, Billy Blanks. Billy Blanks. Jane Fonda. There are a lot of those exercise legends, yeah. How many dabs did you give so far? That was 50. 50 dabs. I have done more. That's not the record. I believe I once did 100 or 150. Because there's another user that once, I think the largest donation I got was maybe like 150. And yeah, for that, they didn't say no dabs. Or maybe they did, but I did them anyway. Yeah, that was pretty intense. Wow, age does. Maz asks a question. Is there any problem translating the Nika form and the Sol form both as so instead of because? No. In fact, I think that translating the Sol form as so is like perfect for translating it. Nika, not so much, but it's okay. Because they kind of, in English, we can use so like to mean just therefore, which can also imply like because of something, therefore. I think it's okay. Remember, translating is more for the person who can't speak the language. If you can speak the language, you don't need the translation. So it's just for convenience. So you can translate things how you'd like. And being a good translator is trying to get the meaning and to make it sound natural at the same time. But that's not always really, that's not important if you're not trying to be a translator. So I would say it's okay. My sister-in-law was in the Tai Bo video. I probably saw her then. Yeah, Rebecca, I lost 200 pounds by doing 50 dabs a day. I lost 50 pounds by doing 50 dabs a day. Yes, that's right. The Billy Diet is available now for 3 easy payments of $19.99. But wait, call now and we'll double your order. And we'll throw in the bonus guide, Cooking by Billy, 50 recipes only using onions, for free. But only to the next 50 callers. Yeah, something like that. I did 50 per side and had to take a long break. Yeah, I think it was 150 was the most I've ever done. It's not the largest donation I've ever gotten, but it's the most where I did dabs. Before that, I think I once did get a larger one, but it was before I started doing dabs, or else I wouldn't be with you here today. Shin-suyom, are you Korean tutor? I noticed the Korean name and it's paid in won. So I'm like, oh, that's a Korean person. That looks like a Korean name. Hi, I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, thank you. Let me write your name on the board. Shin-suyom. I'm pretty sure that's not your real name. I'll do it as a 7.5. I'll do 7.5 dabs for you. Oh, wait, I know the exchange rate makes it closer to 6 or 7, but I'll give you 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As a Korean tutor, I always watch your videos when I get grammar that's hard to explain in English. I've heard that too many times now. Several years ago, people would message me and say, hey, I'm taking Korean class and my tutor played your video in class instead of teaching us the topic. I'm like, great. If I did a good job that you can watch the video instead of needing like a separate class, I think that would be a successful video. Thank you. Glad to hear that. I'm always working on more videos, and I think about that when I make some of my videos. I think, you know what? Someone might play this video in their class instead of a lesson, so I better make sure it's good. Lexica, what? No kimchi in the recipes? Well, that's the sequel. That's what you got to pay extra for. Cooking with Billy. Now with 100 new recipes, all involving kimchi. kimchi ice cream, kimchi pickles, kimchi salad, and more, all contained within this easy-to-use and colorful cooking guide. Yeah, I gotta get my announcer voice going for that. Has this ever happened to you? And then like the person like throws a big chunk of kimchi at the window and it just shatters everywhere. Yeah, you know, and it's in black and white. It's like stuff that never happens to anybody ever. Oh, I got another donation. Sophia Amanda. Hey, what's up? Awesome. Thank you, member. I know you remember you got your little char siu face next to it, and I've seen your name all the time. Sophia, thank you so much. I'll give you 5 dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, kimchi pickles does sound really good. I'm not sure how it would work, though. I think you would make, because you can't do it like regular pickles with the dill and the and like the what would that be? Water and sugar and salt, I think it is, for the mixture. I haven't made pickles before, so I'm not sure what would be the process to do it. It would be similar to pickled cabbage with red pepper, I think. I think that's what you would get. Pickled cabbage with red pepper and a little bit more. No, it wouldn't have to, you wouldn't want it to be sweet though. That would be really good though, I think. And then you can also add chunks of the radish, like the mu, the Korean radish. I think that would be good because I've had pickled radish before, and that's really good. So I think it would be cabbage, like thick chunks of cabbage together with the radish, and you could maybe add some other stuff to it to make it like pickled kimchi. That sounds really good. Maybe I'll buy one. Call now, and we'll throw in a second book absolutely free. That's right. One for you and one for the pet. One for your friend. They do all that. Hey, Lynn. Yeah, long time no see. Lynn, what's up? I would recognize you from the little tiny avatar. I can totally tell it's you. Well, speaking of Avatar, I saw Avatar 2. It was pretty cool. Just giving my review. That has been my review. Quote unquote, it's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, but but wait, there's more. That's more of a Billy Mays thing. But wait, there's more. Rip to Billy Mays, a legend of memes. All right. Like, can you imagine if I could have gotten Billy Mays in his prime to sell my Korean books? How amazing that would have been. How would he have even made a commercial for learning Korean? Have you ever wanted to learn Korean but don't know how to start? Hi, it's me, Billy Mays, here with the new, I don't know, the kitchen be some random tool that's amazing. Hey, Carrie, thank you. All of these donations are making me forget I'm supposed to start the lesson 2 minutes ago. Carrie. Kenny. I'm just going to write your name in Korean just because. Thank you so much. Now I got 20 more dabs to do before I can start the lesson. Here, let's get these really quick. Hold on. Got to get some stars again. Get some different music. Okay, here we go. 20 dabs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. We are ready to start the lesson. Billy Mays here with the mighty putty. That's right. Yeah, he'd have the Hercules hook. Kaboom. There's like some other things he did too. All I could think of is there were many, like at the time there were lots of like fake Billy Mays products people would meme about back when he was around. I used to watch that guy on TV. Anyway, we're getting off track. This is Billy Go, not Billy Mays. Today we're going to be learning an intermediate grammar form that is very simple to conjugate and requires understanding politeness levels to use it correctly. The way to make it is you just take an action verb stem Actually, let me write the whole thing. Actually, I'll just write this first one up. Okay. The way to make it is simple. You take an action verb stem. So any verb where you're doing something, not a descriptive verb. So let's just take hada for an example, to do. And then you attach 려무나 if that action verb stem ends with a consonant, or just attach 려무나 if it ends with a vowel. So for our example of hada, the stem is just ha. It doesn't end in a consonant, so we attach 하려무나, and we're done. If we get a different verb, let's take 먹다. 먹다 ends with a 기역, so it ends in a consonant, so we attach 먹으려무나. Super easy to conjugate. Now, keep in mind that some verbs will have their own way of conjugating. I won't necessarily say irregular because they're pretty regular, but they'll have their own ways of conjugating. For example, if a verb stem ends with a lir, so that's this letter, you simply attach 려무나. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for just a minute so you can write it down. I'm going to check the chat for a second. Nico, you would have been sold out for sure. Yeah. 파김치를 좋아해요. Oh, I love 파김치. I actually just like every kind of kimchi. Does anyone have a favorite kind of kimchi? I do. I don't know about you. I also really like the sour kimchi. So there's like, when you make kimchi, you let it ferment for a certain number of days. And there's like 막 kimchi, which is like freshly made kimchi, and you don't really let it ferment. And you can, and you do after that. But when you first eat it, you can eat it fresh. And then there's other kinds which you leave out for a few days. Like that's more the standard kimchi you get at a restaurant. It might have been left out for, let's say, 2 days or 3 days. I like the kind that's been left out 5 days or 6 days or a week because it has a stronger sour flavor sometimes. And I think that makes it taste really good. Korean jazzercise. Yeah, we can see that. Or what about that? You could do like one of those random exercise programs where the people are like saying a Korean phrase while like dancing. Natalie says, my Korean neighbor cooks for me. Last night she brought over brown rice with red beans and sweet potatoes, chicken curry, and pickled onions and jalapeno. All of that just brought it over. That's really cool. I think even if I had a Korean neighbor, I wouldn't get that. That's really cool. Radish kimchi is my favorite. Radish kimchi? It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, there's several types of Creepy Cat used to be Ayakata. Hey, I recognize your name. Lexica says, a local amazing restaurant makes persimmon kimchi. I'm going to look. Hold on. I have to see what that looks like. That would be kam. Right? Kam is persimmon. That kind of looks like a tomato. Wow. You know, I think I've had this before. It looks kind of familiar. I think I've had this once before, but I can't remember what it tasted like. But that looks really interesting. Yeah, I would definitely try that. That would be like really fruity, I think. That would be nice to have fruity kimchi. Normally you get a little bit of fruit in kimchi because you'll add pear, specifically the Korean style pear, pe, not the kind of wet, mushy American style pear, which is good for stuff, but the Korean one's really crispy, and they'll usually add that into kimchi anyway, a little bit. Some kimchi they'll add a lot. Let's read one more comment. Sour kimchi makes the best kimchi jjigae. Oh, well, if you're talking, that wouldn't necessarily be sour kimchi, but I know what you're talking about. So the kimchi that's used in kimchi jjigae would typically be the old kimchi. So not that it's gone sour, but that it's gone kind of too fermented, kind of like almost like it's rotten. That kimchi when it gets really old, so it's been in the fridge for like 2 years at that point. That kind of kimchi, yes, makes really good jjigae. But yeah, you could do sour kimchi as well for kimchi jjigae, I suppose. All right, so this is how you do it. And that's why we're talking about other things, because this is so easy to make. So now you've got it. One more thing to note. In casual speech, so this is not casual. This would be more like informal. Not formal though. Not really polite. But if you want to speak more casually, you can also do this. This has the exact same meaning, ryom, and it's made in the same way. So 하다 would be 하렴. 먹다 would be 먹으렴. That's it. So this equals this. Same thing, just shortened. But this one will be more used in casual speech. Okay. So what is this form used for? Now you know how to conjugate it, at least. That's all you need to know about conjugation. This form is actually used to sound friendly when you're giving someone a command. So what does that mean? You're giving someone a command. You're telling someone to do something. Hey, do it. But I don't want to sound mean. I don't want to sound like I'm like yelling at them. I don't want to sound like I would be upset if they didn't do it. So I'm going to say it in a friendly way. I want you to write it in English. What way would you tell someone to do something with a friendly tone? How would you do that in English? Instead of me telling you what you would say, tell me what you would say in English. If you want to tell someone to do something, but you want it to sound friendly. I don't mean sound polite. Like you could ask polite commands to people in English. You could say, hey, do you think you could, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, do you think that you could, not like this, but I mean friendly. In a friendly way, how would you give someone a command? Zandria Waters. Zandria. Thank you so much. And I see you have a question. Let me give you 5 dabs, and then I'm going to answer your question here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But wait, there's more. Donate right now, and we'll double your dabs. That's right, 10 dabs for the price of 5. Okay, let's see what your question is, Andrea. I'm worried about when Koreans ask my age. I usually say in English, like, how old do I look? Oh, yeah, you can do that in English. In fact, that's actually what I do as well in Korean. Sorry, you can do that in Korean. And that's actually what I do as well to be funny. You don't need to evade the question in Korean because in general, with some exceptions, in general, it's not considered rude. Now, there are situations where it is kind of rude. Like if you're a stranger and you randomly ask another stranger their age, it can be a little bit kind of off-putting, like, why do you need to know? Especially, it could be a little more rude to ask older women their age. Not much older, but like a little bit older. Some people can be sensitive to that, just like they might be in America and other countries. But besides that, it's not really a taboo topic to ask someone their age. It's considered okay because you want to know how you should address the person, especially when it's vague. Like, I'm not sure if this person's like 30 or 13. You know, some people have those kind of faces. You're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how old this person is. In that situation, it's totally fine to ask someone their age, but you can actually answer that the same way in Korean as you would in English. And it's not part of the lesson, but since you donated, I'll answer it. Yes. Sorry. Actually, let me give you the verb you want to use to make it even better. 마치다. 마치다 means to guess, specifically like to guess correctly. So you could use this in a sentence. You could say 맞춰보세요. 맞춰보다, to try and guess. Hold on. I see I got another donation. I'm just going to finish this. So you can use the verb 맞춰보다. 맞춰봐요. 맞춰보세요. Guess. And you can also directly ask them, how old do you look? what age do I look? You can ask them that as well. But this is kind of a playful way you can have them guess. And then, you know, they're going to guess 10 years younger than you are, depending on how old you are. If you're like 60, they might guess like, you know, low 50s. If you're 30, they might guess like mid 20s, you know. You know what I'm talking about, but they'll guess. Oh, Keenan B. Keenan B. Hold on. I haven't seen your name before. Thank you. But you broke my board. Now the lights are frozen. I have to, hold on. I have to turn off the board. There you go. Thank you, Keenan B. I'm going to do some dabs for Keenan. Thank you so much. 10 dabs for Keenan. Since it's over 10, I'm going to give you some kimchi if it works. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm getting a workout today. I'm getting a pretty big workout today from all these dabs. Lynn says, when people ask my age in Korea, it's always a long, hilarious conversation because they're shocked when I answer. Yeah, you know how, okay, this is not related to the lesson, but you know how when you see a Korean person, or this kind of can apply to lots of Asian people, when you are not familiar with how Asian people can look differently, you might think that everyone looks so young because you're not used to how their faces evolve as they get older. It's kind of the same way sometimes when other Korean people or Asian people look at, you know, a white person like me or an American, that they're not familiar with so much how we age as well, and they might not know our age. In fact, they might think we're much older than we are, even though we're not. Like, I remember when I was in Korea, actually this happens a lot. I might be 20 years old, 22 in Korea, and they'll be like, are you 30? Like, what? They're just not used to how we age. But once you've lived in Korea for a while, that kind of goes away. You no longer see them as really looking young. You'll see them more for their age because you're used to seeing people at that different ages. For me, I think I'm pretty good at that. I think I'm pretty good at guessing someone's age. Even people who, Korean people might say, oh, this person looks extremely young. I can look at them and be like, nope, that person is 40, or, you know, that person's like late 30s or something like that. I'm pretty good at it. But not everyone is. So people might guess your age completely wrong, vice versa, just as you might guess their age wrong because they're not used to it. All right. So back to the lesson. Yeah, 수물살이시죠? Yeah, thank you, Sophia. Although I really don't personally care if someone knows my age. I'm 36. I don't really care if someone knows my real age. For me, it's not offensive. I hope that I'm going to be, I'll just get older and older with the same shirt and holding KiCat. So yeah, okay. So did anyone think about how would you say a friendly command? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I do see some in chat. Let me check some of these. Okay. Could you do that for me, please? Would you mind? Why don't you? Would it be okay if? Would you? Could you? I need you, please. I need you. I like that one. I need you to, like that. It kind of sounds like you're asking a favor and you're trying to be like friendly about it. Hey, could you do that? Hey, could you? Evan Tesseract says, I use tone of voice when telling my kids what to do to make it clear as friendly. Like, pick that up. Pick that up. Yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about. Could you pick that up? Like that. Instead of, pick that thing up right now. Okay. All of your answers are good. In fact, that is what this form means. And it's difficult to translate as one phrase. The title I wrote, would you, as one example. But it doesn't always translate naturally as would you, because it depends on the sentence that you're trying to make. It could translate different ways. It might translate as, if you would please, or even, hey, why don't you do this, right? Hey, why don't you bring me a cup of water so I can hurry up and finish my work and then we can go hang out together. You know, like you're asking someone a favor, but you're trying to be like playful about it. Some notes though. Okay, so you just make sure you've got that. It's a command, but it's a friendly command. But it is only used in some specific situations. I need some more space, so I'm going to erase this. This point has to do a lot with this one. The fact that it's friendly. you're not going to use this to strangers. It would sound rude. It would sound rude in Korea if you were to go up to a stranger and say, hey, why don't you do this for me? Like, they would be like, no, how dare you talk to me like this? It sounds friendly in the sense that you're close with someone. It doesn't sound friendly in the sense that it's polite to a stranger. So you wouldn't use this to a stranger. It's only used with people who you already are familiar with. And as a result, it's not a formal form. It's not an official form. It's not going to be a form that you would use in an essay. It's not going to be a form that you would use when you're officially speaking, like you're giving a speech. Anything sort of formal or official, you would not use this form. It does have more of a casual tone, no matter how it's being used. Okay. So let me tell you what the nuance of this form is. So, okay, so this is what it literally means. This is what the form literally means, but I also want to give you another note about the nuance. And I couldn't really find this in any other resources, so this is my guess at the best way I can explain the actual nuance, the feeling of this. This form, although it's a command, it has the nuance of you're giving the listener permission to do something. But you're telling them to do it, but the feeling is like, I'm letting you do that. So to translate that into English the best I can, I came up with a few expressions that we might say, such as, oh, you can go do this. Or, oh, you may do this. Or, oh yeah, sure then, how about you do this? It's like, sure then, you do that. Let me see if I can find, like, make sure to do something. Sure, then, make sure to do something. It's kind of like you're giving them permission indirectly. So that's the nuance. Again, this doesn't have to do with the literal meaning. This is just what it kind of feels like. Like the speaker is telling the listener, I give you permission to do this. And it sounds friendly, but it's a command. So it sounds friendly by giving them permission. Like, because I'm giving you permission, it's friendly, but it's a command, so do it. Okay. So this is all you need to know about the basics. And one more thing. In fact, this is the most important one. I almost forgot this. Actually, let me... This form should only be used towards someone who's younger than you. So it's actually used for kind of talking down to someone. I don't mean in a mean way, but talking down to someone who's lower than you in age. So you wouldn't use this ever to older people, even if they're your friends. Unless you're joking, it's okay. But if it's not clear you're joking, you wouldn't use it to your friends even. It's only used to younger people. So an older friend you have might use it to you to be kind of like, to sound friendly, like they're telling you to do something like, oh, would you go, be a dear and do this for me? Like that. You wouldn't use that to an older person. As a result, the most common place that you're going to see this it's hard to write sideways, is being used to children. Most of the time you see this, it's going to be used toward a child, but it doesn't have to be. Just so you know, it just can only be used towards someone who's younger. It just typically tends to get used toward children most often. So this is just a note. It doesn't have to be used toward children. I just want to make that clear. It tends to, but it doesn't have to. It just does have to be used to someone who's younger than you because it doesn't sound like you're speaking upward to someone. It just sounds like you're talking down, like slang. Okay. Raymond says, does this work for spouses regardless of age, younger to older spouse? Like I said, it could be older to younger, but at the same time, if you're using it as from the older spouse to the younger spouse, that wouldn't be good either, because oftentimes in relationships, even though you might speak differently to each other, politeness levels, this is a big topic. I don't know if you'd want to go into this, but there is couples who are similar in age, usually, in fact, pretty much any couple will ignore their politeness levels and they'll speak to each other equally. Some couples, though, keep that the different politeness level in their language. So one will speak more politely and the other will speak more casually. Depends on the couple. Most of the time, though, you kind of get treated as an equal. So you'll speak the same to each other. In that case, you would not use this. If you have a relationship where one person speaks more casually and the other one speaks more politely, this could still sound a bit like you're talking down to them. But it depends on the couple. Some couples like that sort of relationship where one talks down and the other one talks up. A lot of couples also will even both speak up to each other. Even though they're different ages, they'll both speak up. Or if they're the same age, they might speak up, just because the feeling of different politeness levels can be different. It's not just about rules. In fact, I made a whole course all about this, including these sorts of intricacies for politeness levels. It's free on my YouTube channel, Master Politeness Levels. Okay, so I won't go into it just for time. Okay, so most of the time to younger people, it sounds friendly, but it's a command. And it's like the nuance is like you're giving the listener permission to do something. Don't use it to strangers and don't use it for any formal situations. Okay, so now that you know exactly how to use it, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Don't use this form. No, that's not really what I mean. This form is not used that often. The most common places I hear this form used would be like parents talking to their kids and they're trying to sound friendly, which isn't going to be the only way you tell a kid to do something. You'll probably just say, do it, or hurry up and do it, or why didn't you do that already? You're not going to necessarily need to sound friendly. You might hear it in like a daycare center, like the daycare center worker wants to speak friendly to a kid, but uses it like this because they don't want to just make a direct command. They want to be like, oh yeah, here, you do this. So it doesn't get used that often. I've also heard it often in like stories, kids stories. Lately, I listen to a kids story podcast together with my kid, sometimes when we're driving, and you can hear different types of grammar in that for stories. You'll hear it in TV shows, cartoon shows. The characters will use this to their kids. It's not the most common form though. It doesn't sound awkward, just that what I'm trying to say is you don't want to replace all of your commands with this form. So whenever you're making a command to a kid, don't think, oh, I should use this new form I learned because I'm talking with a kid now. Only if you want this nuance, if you want to sound like this, then go ahead. It just doesn't tend to get used all of the time. So yeah, I just want to make sure you don't worry too much about this form. It's not going to be a daily form you're going to use. Even if you lived in Korea, you're not going to be exposed to this every single day. But it's still a really good form to learn. And when you hear it, you'll recognize it. You'll be like, oh yeah, Billy taught me this. Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. But you yourself probably are not going to need this form that much. I've used it only in a few situations. And sometimes when I use it, in fact, it's because I'm joking. Like I might jokingly use it to someone else. Like I want to have that friendly tone and I want to tell someone to do something. 빨리 하렴. I might tell someone like that. Oh, hurry up, would you? But it's not used seriously. I might jokingly use it. Okay, so because now that I finished giving you all these examples, let me give you some sentences that you can use it. I'm going to give you one sentence first, just to make sure we check that everyone's understanding this. Okay. Read it for a second. Try to understand it on your own first before I just tell you what it means. 마음대로 하려. Yeah, I thought I wrote it wrong for a second. 마음대로 하려구나. Okay, I'm just going to leave it up for a second so you can read it. Try to understand it your own. Avion Paris summarizes it pretty good. Billy says, don't use this form. Me, class over. Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time that I teach you something and I say, you don't need to use it. Evan says, okay, I found when I'd use this. My son says, hey, I'm running to the store. And I say, cool, grab me a coffee while you're there. I use the Nikki says, oh, hey, Nikki. I use the English form of this for my students and follow up with a thank you. It makes them stop and then do it. Well, hey, could you, how about if you pick up all of the crayons you threw on the floor in under 5 minutes? Okay, thanks. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that would work. Do what you want. Follow your heart. Not necessarily follow your heart, but oh, by the way, unrelated. I don't know if you could see this. I found this, you can't really see, the light's not that great. I found this lollipop, says butter. I don't know, does anyone know what this is? I just found it in my closet. I think I've had it for like a couple years now. I can only assume it's a buttered flavor lollipop, right? Should be a butter flavored lollipop. I don't know. Maybe I should try it. Should I eat this or not? Should I eat it or save it? It's kind of melted, actually, the side. One of the sides kind of softened a little bit and stretched out. Not completely melted, but just stretched. The other side's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's butter. So it should be butter flavored lollipop. And it has like gold sprinkles in it. I'm not joking. There are like little tiny gold flakes in here. Like, I'm sure it's real gold. There's no question this is going to be real gold in here. Sophia Man, if that came with the cookies. yeah, it did. It must be old. Yeah, I think it was like a couple years ago. Sell it? I don't want to sell it. Why would I sell it? I don't need to sell it. I think I'd only get like $10 if I sold it anyway. Why not just eat it? I'm sure I'm sure whoever made this would be happy if I ate it instead of just sold it. Okay. 마음대로 하려무나. It's so much more natural though to say 렴. I'll show you in a few other examples. 려무나 is less common, but it has the same meaning. 렴 will be more common of the two. 마음대로 하려무나. So, why don't you just go ahead and do what you want? So you're giving them a command. It sounds friendly, although I didn't do it in a very friendly tone, but why don't you go ahead and do what you want? So it has a friendly tone. There we go. It has a friendly tone, and you're telling them to do something. This would be you're speaking to someone who's younger than you, who's not a stranger. So yeah, you just do what you want. You can do what you want. That sort of meaning. 마음대로 하려무나. Okay, next one. If I tell you that this is the word for seatbelt, literally safety belt, and this is the word for put on a seatbelt, can you make the sentence, kids, put on your seatbelts? Kids, you can put on your seatbelts now. Can you make that sentence? It should be a short sentence, but can you make it? Kids, put on your seatbelt. Put on your seatbelt, would you? Giveaway time. I don't think anyone wants a half melted or stretched butter lollipop. I think I'm just gonna eat it. The next person who donates, let's say this, the next person who donates chooses whether I eat it or save it till the next stream. And each time we'll do that until it gets eaten. And unless it gets eaten right now, then I'll just eat it. Next person who donates chooses whether I eat this or I save it at least for another 2 weeks until the next stream. Okay, it's gonna wait on my desk. All right, let's see. Anyone made this sentence yet? 안전벨트 매료문화. 안전벨트 매렴. 안전벨트를 매렴. I don't want to say the correct answer, but I just want to read them for a second. 안전벨트를 매려무나. 얘들아, 안전벨트 매렴. Okay, I said I wouldn't say the correct answer, but Jordy, you got it. 100%. Perfect. 안전벨트 매려무나. Nice, Victoria. Nice, nice. Nice, Sophia. Nice, MJ Hammer. Oh, wait, Natalie got it first. Natalie got it first. Even before that, I see. 얘들아, 안전벨트 매렴? Yes, you got it. Okay. Let me give you the answer. 얘들아, kids. Hey, you kids. 안전벨트 매렴. 얘들아, 안전벨트 매렴. Kids, 안전벨트, safety belt, seatbelt. 매다 is to wear a seatbelt. So to wear something that you wear by tying. So that could be a belt or a seatbelt. 매렴. So if you would please, put on your seatbelts, kids. Kids, you can put on your seatbelts now. Like that. You're giving them permission, but you're really telling them it as a command in a friendly way. You can put on your seatbelts now. Oh, yeah, do it now. Now, put on your seatbelts right now. So it's kind of like that. You're telling them to do it, but you're doing it in a friendly way as if you're giving them permission to do it. All right, you can put on your seatbelts now. Hey, before we can leave, I'm not going anywhere until put on your seatbelts. Okay. How does the lollipop taste? I don't know. Like I said, the next person who donates tells me whether I eat it now or I save it until the next 2 weeks. Okay. Zandria. Oh, Zandria's picked. She chose. It's been decided. Okay, I'm not going to eat it. Not going to eat it today anyway. Billy, sell that. Armies will pay. Really? How much would an army member pay for a 2-year-old slightly softened butter lollipop? I mean, it wasn't like super expensive when it came out. I think it was like $5 each or $4 each when they came out. Well, I can actually, let me add Zandria. I can add the total here from 5 to 7 and 2 more dabs. I don't know if anyone would pay for it. They will pay? That sounds like a threat. Armies will pay. They will pay. Okay, well, I'll keep it at least for the next 2 weeks. I don't know. What does anyone want to buy this? I don't know what to do with it. I'll just keep it here. Okay, I'm keeping it for the time being. It's living to see another week. It's like you have a Ken Griffey Jr. baseball card. I don't know if I'd go that far. I think they're on like $15 on like Etsy or something. I don't think they're going to be very valuable. I haven't checked. Okay. Next sentence. Actually, we don't even need an exclamation here. 조심히 다녀오렴. 조심히 다녀오렴. 조심히 means safely, like take care. 다녀오다 is to go somewhere and come back. So in English, we don't really translate this. We would just say, take care, see you again, like someone's leaving and they're coming back to your house later. 조심히 다녀오렴. So this is something the parent might say to their kid. See you after school. See you later. You know, the kid's going to take the bus and come back home by the bus. So they're going to come back home by themselves. 조심히 다녀오렴. This is something the parent might say to the kid. So please take care and come back. But it's kind of like, hey, all right, take care then. You know, make sure to take care. Kind of like a make sure to in this situation, I think. Like, yeah, make sure to take care. Like that. Okay, next sentence. All right. Okay, what about this sentence? What do you think this one means? How would you translate this? CE says, just use their obsession to add to your wallet. I'm not interested. I'm not just going to sell everything because it has value. Some things I just want to keep, or I just want to eat. Like that lollipop. I just want to eat it. I'm curious what it tastes like. Rita says, I don't care if it's expired. I wouldn't eat it anyways. That's a good point. Yeah, 에들아 or 얘들아. You'd be 에들아. Ye would be a different word. That means I. This kid, this person. 얘들 would be these guys, these kids. Like that. Whereas 에 is I. 애들 is like kids, just kids in general. So it's a different word. Sounds similar, but different word. Sue says he can't sell it because he might be in violation of health rules and regulations. Good point. I don't have a business license for food. So I technically can't sell it as a food. But if I put it in a case, then call it collector's item and write do not eat, not for human consumption, maybe we can still make it work. I don't know. I'll probably just end up eating it next stream when I ask the same question. Eat up before you go. Hey, go eat this if you want. Not close. 먹고 가다. So to eat and then go. So this would be going after you've eaten. You can go eat. How about you eat this up and go? Eat up and go. Yes, I like some of these. Eat your meal and go. Eat before you go. Oh, Natalie, good. Eat before you go. You can leave after eating. You can leave after eating. Eat your ice cream before you go out the door. Yeah. It is listed as lemon flavor. Interesting. By George, he's on to something. Belvi gives a good example. I guess it'll be a real thing. A parent says, 야채를 먹으렴. Yeah. Hey, how about having some of your vegetables? Like that. Hey, why don't you have your vegetables? Oh, you can have some vegetables too. How about you have some vegetables too? That'd be a great idea. You know, kind of like that. You're telling him to do it, but you're doing it in more of a friendly way. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed though it's not butter flavored. Maybe it's lemon butter. Well, that just sounds horrible. Lemon butter. Eat your food first, kiddo, then you can go play. Very nice. I like that. That's a good spin on the translation. Okay. 밥은 먹고 가려무나. So this would be like, why don't you eat something before you go? 밥은 먹고 가다. Eat and then go. So eat your food and then go. How about you do that? 밥은 먹고 가려무나. What about this one? 그런 걱정은 This one's just 여무나 as well. 그런 걱정은 하지 말려무나. How would you translate this one? 그런 걱정은 하지 말려무나. So this one uses the negative command tense, like 하지 마세요. But now you have 하지 말, which would be 하지 말다, would be the full form, 하지 말다, unconjugated. So you chop off the 다, it ends with a lir, so you attach 려무나. You might see people misspelling it as just this, 말려무나, but it's the same thing, 말려무나. It should be this. I like Jordy Kroon's translation for this. Don't you worry about it. I like that you added in the you. Maz. Okay, Maz asks a question. While you're thinking about what you would translate this as, Maz asks, can someone explain why the topic marker is used? The food is the object in the sentence, but the topic marker's job isn't only to mark the topic of the sentence. In fact, I have a video about that in my Korean FAQ series, search for a video called How to Feel the Topic Marker. And that should answer your question. But the topic marker can have a feeling like you're saying, like you're emphasizing it, like you're holding it up to the listener. You're saying, well, rice, so your meal, like have some of your meal before you go, is what it's implying. So it has that emphasis. That's how it works as the topic marker in the first place. So because of that, you can use it instead of the object marker if you want that emphasis. Okay, let's see some other translations here. You don't need to worry about it. Nice, I like that. Don't worry about it. Then don't worry. So this can't be used with the Yule form. It is itself, it doesn't have the Yule form in it. It is itself its own form. So no. But it wouldn't be used with strangers or in polite situations anyway. So it wouldn't need the Yule form. 그런 걱정, that kind of 걱정, that kind of worry, those kind of concerns. 하지 말려무나. This one also has the topic marker. So those kind of concerns, those types of worries, this with the emphasis. 그런 걱정은 하지 말려무나. Don't worry about that. Don't you worry about that. 그런 걱정은 하지 말려무나. Okay, I have two more sentences. Actually, how about you finish this sentence? 스스로. 스스로 means like on your own, by yourself. Why don't you try it out once on your own? Why don't you try it out once on your own? Why don't you try this out once on your own? Let's see what you can get. You can finish this live video after you eat your lollipop. Well, now I can't eat the lollipop because Zandria told me not to eat it. At least for this live, I'm not going to eat it. But I'll pose the question again in 2 weeks. I don't know how much longer the lollipop will have. Okay, why don't you try it on your own once? 스스로 하렴 works. It's simple, but it works. You can now expand that, and how would you add in the meaning of like try it once? Not do it once by yourself, but try it once by yourself. Natalie, I like it. Teresa, nice. MJ Hammer, I like it. Jordy Kroon, amazing. Amazing, Jordy. Oh, Ria, you would not need 혼자 as well since you already have 스스로 in the sentence. 혼자 means alone, as in there's no one else. 스스로 means by yourself, as in without anyone's help. So, in fact, the famous movie, can you guess what this movie is? This is the famous movie title. Can you guess what this title is in English? This word is similar to 혼자. It's not the same, but it's similar to 혼자. See if anyone can get it. Okay, a couple people got it already. Maybe it wasn't that hard. 나 홀로 집에. You should know this movie title in Korea. Everyone knows this movie in Korea. It's famous. Not every movie in the US is famous in Korea, but this one is. Okay. Yeah, 나 홀로 집에 is home alone. Literally, me or I alone at home. Me alone at home is the Korean title. Which is pretty much, yeah, Home Alone. Pretty good translation. Okay. Why don't you try it once on your own? 스스로 한 번 해보렴. 한 번 here literally means once, but when it's written without a space, it means to try something, to try sometime, to give it a try. So this means to give it a try without literally meaning once. 스스로 한 번 해보렴. 해보다, to try something, to do it and see how it goes. So why don't you try it once by yourself and see how it goes? 스스로 한 번 해보렴. So why don't you try it once on your own? Okay. For this one you won't want to translate it as would you, because I think it'll be awkward in English. So see if you can translate this one more naturally. 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. This is something that a parent would tell their kid often at the kitchen table. 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. I'll tell you what this means, but I'm not going to translate the sentence. 꼭꼭 씹다. 씹다 means to chew. So like you would chew gum or you chew food. 씹다. 꼭꼭 is used specifically, well, it has a different meaning, but when used with 씹다, it specifically means to chew something well, like to chew thoroughly, to make sure you're chewing it. So when you tell your kids to chew their food, you're not just saying chew it because they are, you're saying chew it thoroughly, like actually chew your food, and so that you're not just swallowing clumps of food. So you tell your kid, what would you tell your kid? 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. How would you just swallow it? Yeah, just swallow your food. This is your yearly reminder to learn the Heimlich maneuver if you don't know it. It'll save a life. Really, I've used it before a couple times on my own kid, because he like tries to put food in his mouth, really that's way too big for his throat. You should totally learn it though, super easy. And then you'll never know when it might come in handy. What is it? It's 2 fingers right underneath your sternum. Make a fist with one hand, put the other hand over it like this, and you push in and up. Hut, 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 like that. You don't want to like hit their back, so that'll make it go deeper. But learn it from someone who actually knows how to teach it, not a Korean teacher. Chew your food carefully. Okay, now let's check to see some of your translations for this sentence. Oh, Maz, make sure you chew properly. I like it. See, chew your food properly. Do not swallow without chewing, okay? Make sure you try it. Be sure to chew your food carefully, okay? Chew your food carefully. Tightly chew food. Not tightly. Tightly would be like, something's like twisted tightly or attached tightly. Like touching really hard would be tightly. This one is thoroughly. Like completely. Chew your food carefully. Okay. I liked Maz's translation of make sure. In fact, that's what I picked for my translation as well. 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. Please make sure to chew your food, or just make sure to chew your food, okay? 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. 꼭꼭 씹어 먹으렴. Make sure to chew your food. So this is something that you would definitely want to say to your kid at the table before they swallow a hamburger whole, because kids will do that. And then they'll scream when you take it away from them. Okay. All right. That was all of our sentences. In fact, we finished this lesson a little bit early. I am taking questions now. So that is our lesson. Thank you for coming. Really quick announcements. There is no live stream next Sunday. Oh, I also have another announcement. So I restarted my my tutoring. Let me put that here. It's limited availability. So this isn't something that I'm going to be heavily promoting. I'm not going to be focusing on. I'm going to be focusing on filming new videos and making new content and everything like that. But I did open it up again for people who really, really just want to do tutoring with me, not with any other. They don't want another tutor. They just want to do tutoring with me, or they have questions, or they just need, language coaching, something like that. That's really specific. Then I reopened some tutoring sessions for that. Again, it's limited, but the information is there in the comment. Again, no live stream next Sunday. Yeah. Feel free to give me some questions. I'll be open for a short Q&A for about 10 minutes from now. These can be questions about the live stream. It can be questions about other topics. Zephyrus, you said, can we learn the next lesson? Konyoung, I actually did a live stream all about it. I actually did a lesson, or did I do a live stream or a lesson? I did a full lesson I have a lesson about Konyoung. So check that out on my channel. If you search Konyoung on my YouTube channel, you'll find I already did a whole lesson about it. Fortunately, it's really easy to use, but it's an advanced level form. Belvi says, I saw this sentence these days. 다음, you mean 다음 주에? 다음 주, not 다음의 주에. 꼭, that one, 꼭 is different. That 꼭 actually does mean make sure to. Like, it literally means like surely, to be certain, or definitely, like that, surely. But I think to make sure is a good translation for it. It just so happened that make sure works for 꼭 in this sentence, not because of 꼭, unrelated, just because of the form and the way we might say that kind of sentence. But no, 꼭 by itself would be different. That would be like to make sure. It's like, let's definitely, or definitely in that sentence, you can translate it as definitely. But if you're giving someone a command, like 꼭 하세요, a good way to translate that is make sure to do it. But if you're saying, 꼭 봐요, 꼭 만나요, it's like, let's definitely meet. Let's make sure to meet, like that. Oh, Avion Paris, Korean Ara, my tutor, said she did a video with you. When's that coming out? Let me tell you. Let me check my schedule. That would be next month. I'll just say February. I actually have 2 videos coming out. We did a interview style video. I don't want to spoil it. We did an interview style video. We also did a travel style video. Both of those will be coming out next month. So one, and then the next week will be the next one. So you can expect those in a month. Okay. Evan Tesseract says, I learned a lot and kept up a lot better than I thought I would. Thank you. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Zandria says, 막대 사탕과 쿠키 둘 다에 얼마를 원하십니까? Oh, I don't have the cookies I ate. Those were legit good cookies. So what I got, see, and the cookies would be rancid. If I still had those would be rancid. Those were legit the best butter cookies I ever had. Easy. The best butter cookies I ever had. And I've had a lot of butter cookies. They're really, really good. So I had the butter cookies. This is just the box. This is empty. And then I had the pecan cookies. These were okay. These were like just regular pecan cookies, nothing special. And then I had the caramel. The caramel was meh. Caramel was lame. I've had better caramel. It was really like they just melted down sugar to make it. They didn't put any effort into the texture. So I've had better texture, but the flavor was okay. It was edible. Finished it all. But these are just boxes. Rachel's channel. Hello, new here from the Philippines. Nice. Welcome. I've got a bunch of people watching me from the Philippines. I always notice that in my video analytics, that there are many people from the Philippines that are watching. I think that's cool. How do I say hello in Tagalog? Right? That's how you say it, right? It's not Tagalog, it's Tagalog, right? Gozdi says, I am going to Korea in March. Awesome. what do you recommend definitely bring when you go to Korea? I would bring snacks that you cannot easily get in Korea. So it depends on who you're meeting. So for me, I like bringing like warheads for my friends because you can't buy warheads in Korea easily anyway. You can buy them if you know where to look, but they're not easy to find. Some chocolates, like if you have a local chocolate store that makes chocolate, bring it. That's good. They'll like that. You know, it's not, and plus it's something you just can't buy in Korea if it's a good quality, like, you know, a special company makes it kind of thing. Drinks are good too if there's a drink your friend likes, but you would have to ask them what they would like. Let's see. Lots of chips that they don't have over there. I think, okay, this is kind of a secret. So I have some secrets. I like bringing over Cheetos, flaming hot Cheetos. The reason is they sell these in Korea, but they're not the same. It's made by a different manufacturing company and the recipe's different. So if you have a Cheeto in Korea, it's not going to be satisfying like a Cheeto in the US. So flaming hot Cheetos are a good gift idea. Chester's chips, it's kind of like a flaming hot Cheeto variety that's a little bit crispier and fluffier. Those also don't exist in Korea. That's another thing I bring. The stuff I bring though changes. It used to be Pringles because they didn't have Pringles in Korea. They only had original and sour cream, I think. But now they have like tons of flavors in Korea. It's not special anymore. Last trip, I actually also brought over Oreos because Korea only has some kinds of Oreos. You can find like mint chocolate chip and like plain Oreos. And there's a few varieties in Korea, but it's not anything like we have in the US with like the double stuffed and pumpkin pie flavored and, you know, all those types of flavors. That's also a fun idea. I would just say go to your local grocery store and try to find something that looks like what is this? Like, what is this cereal? What is this chip? What is this candy? That sort of thing you're not likely to find in Korea. You can bring it over to them and they'll think it's cool. But anything really basic, like if you find it at a gas station, they're going to have it in Korea, like regular stuff. Like, you know, M&Ms, of course they have Snickers, they have that. You don't say hello in Tagalog, you say kumusta, which means how are you? Oh, okay. Like sounds like komusta. It's probably related. Kumusta. Billy, did you ever do a video on incomplete sentences? I'm having trouble with those. Recently saw 지내길래. Well, that wouldn't be an incomplete sentence. So you might have to give me a better example. I did a video though about 길래, if you're wondering. That's because when it's used with an action. So it's the because for explaining the reason why someone did something. So this would be, anyway. Yeah, so watch the video about that for a full explanation. But that wouldn't be an incomplete sentence. Billy, is there a video on your channel about literally saying would you? Yeah, it would just be a future tense, any future tense video. With like 하시겠습니까? 하시겠어요. That's the general straightforward would you do this? 같이 가주시겠어요? Or like 해 주시다, like doing something as a favor. Favorite snacks from Korea? I did a video about that. I did a video about rating some snacks. We did like one of those rating games where you pick your favorite snack and you're left with one at the end. Some really good ones. I like Postik are really good. Basically, it's like shrimp chips, but they're not shrimp flavored. They're like potato flavored. Those are good. I also really like 왕꿈틀. It's like a giant gummy worm. And it's like a bunch of small gummy worms in the bag. And then there will be one king gummy worm, which is like really long in the bag. And those are also pretty good. I like, let's see, what else do I like? It's usually just the chips that I like. I think there are a lot of unique flavors in Korea. I also like dodohan nacho chip. So like nacho chip is like Korea's version of Doritos, but they're different. But it's like the same idea, like crispy chips with like a powder on the outside. And they have a nacho chip, different flavors of it, different flavors of nacho chip. And I like the dodohan, which is like the haughty flavor. And that one's really good. It tastes like a cheesier version of Doritos, like more cheese. Ramen, can't go wrong with Korean ramen. A lot of that stuff's really good too. Paige says, I'm new and I just started your Korean beginners course. Thank you for helping me learn Korean. Awesome. Glad to hear you're starting it. When I first uploaded that video, it didn't actually have very many views, as I was expecting, tens of thousands of people to automatically start watching it. And it only had a few thousand views, but by now it's got close to 500,000. So I think over time, YouTube has been recommending that video for people looking for how to start learning Korean. And now it's starting to get more views. So I'm happy about that. I spent a lot of time. Every video took me a full day of editing and a full day of writing and a full day of planning and like making the the subtitles and all that other work that went into it. So it's like every video was like 3 full days of work, and I did 100 of them, which took like almost a year to finish. So I'm really glad they're finally getting views now. At least the first few are. Okay, I'm only going to stream for another couple minutes, then I'm going to stop for today. I do want to say one more special thanks again to everyone who supported the channel, as well as who continues to support. It's you who's helping me keep going with this channel. It really is. This is my main source of income, is teaching Korean. I don't have a second job. So it's thanks to every one of you that I'm able to keep doing this and that I can keep doing it for free, of course. Okay, let's see a couple more questions. Xandria Water says, I'm not worried. Any second, Indiana Jones will bullwhip his way into the studio, grab the lollipop and go, this belongs in a museum. Or however he would say it. Hey, kid, this belongs in a museum. Yeah, I have to put more fatigue in my voice. Let's see. Natalie says, if you're there in the summer, bring a raincoat. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. My umbrella was useless in Korea in July. The rain goes every direction. Yeah. Oh, that's something else. This isn't something you need to bring, but something you should have. And that would be just rain boots. So when you think of rain boots, everyone kind of think of those comically tall rubber boots that look like you're a 3-year-old walking through the garden. But they make rain boots that look like regular nice shoes. And I have some in Korea. I've used them for the past several years. And they're waterproof. So I can have nice looking, they're like black shoes. They look like, business shoes, really nice. And they match with my clothes. And whenever it's raining, I can like splash in a puddle, walk around. Don't have to worry about getting my socks wet. But yeah, you definitely need to worry about your shoes because they're going to get wet. Like no matter where you're holding the umbrella, it rains everywhere. You can't stop getting wet. So I would say, yeah, that's a good idea. Raincoat, and I would say, yeah, rain shoes. If you're there in July, which is the rainy time. Other times you probably don't need it so much, but yeah, definitely in July. And sometimes in October, November, there will be a rainy season. Though this year it didn't happen, but normally it does. All right. Someone said, bring a swimsuit if you're going to the sea or water park. There are a few water parks and the beaches are nice. You could also buy that in Korea. In fact, I think that's one of the fun things about being in Korea is underpacking for what I need and then buying clothes while I'm there because you get different styles in Korea that you can't find in the US. Assuming that your body type would be available in Korea. So for me, like I'm fairly similar to a Korean body type, so I can wear a lot of those clothes. If not, then I would recommend definitely bringing stuff from your home country. It might be difficult to find different sizes in Korea, at least easily. So that's one thing I like, those buying clothes when I'm in Korea. So I'll buy socks there. I buy this hat, bought this shirt, bought the actually the undershirt I think I got from somewhere else. Buy belts, buy shoes, everything when I'm in Korea. That way I don't have to pack so heavy every single time I go there. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. This was a fun lesson. I hope you were able to learn everything that we learned today. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you again next time, which is 2 weeks from now, actually. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.